Sorry. Well, welcome. Glad you could join us. So the agenda for tonight, we have two speakers for tonight. Mickey is going to be doing her icebreaker speech. Glad that you signed up for that on the spot. Fantastic. And Lawrence is going to fill in the second speech. He's going to be doing an impromptu speech. Did you decide on a topic?
Just miscellaneous information, I guess.
Okay,
Miscellaneous
that
information.
promises to be interesting.
I love it.
Promises to be interesting. Improvisation, fantastic. So, and then we've got table topics prepared. Cody's going to lead the table topics, and then we'll move on with the normal evaluation part of our meeting.
Oh,
So let's go ahead and get started
Who's
with our
evaluating?
first speaker. Mickey, your
who's the
icebreaker.
first evaluator?
First evaluator is Heather.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's Heather, I'm sorry.
Word of the day is
Word of the day.
Where did it
It's cabal.
Oh, you know, I'm sorry. Let me, I'm skipping a whole portion of the meeting. So let me introduce the roles and let's go through what each of those roles do. So starting out, Marlo is grammarian. Marlo, would you like to describe that role?
Hello, everyone. I'm Marla Grammarian. I'll be counting Oz, filler words, subject verb agreement. I will also count the word of the day. The word of the day is cabal. C-A-B-A-L. It is a noun. It is a small group of secret plotters as against a government or person in authority. The plots and schemes of such a group: intrigue. 3. A clique, as in artistic, literary, or theatrical circles. 4. A form, a cabal, intrigue, conspire, or plot. And our sentence, which Maurice helped me with: North Korea has a cabal of citizens dispersed throughout the USA spreading propaganda. So we will be counting cabal. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marlo. So Cody will be handling the table topics. Cody, would you like to describe table topics and the role as table topics master?
Yeah, sure. So table topics is a fun part of the meeting. So I'll get up there, and for all the members, I can call on them at random, but as a guest, you can volunteer if you'd like. You can kind of see how it goes. But essentially, it's an impromptu session. So I'll have a topic, and you have no time to think about what you're going to say, and then you get up there and talk for a few minutes about the topic, and we'll run a couple rounds of that.
Just 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes.
And the general evaluator is Lawrence. Lawrence, could you describe the general evaluator role for us?
Good. Yes, the general evaluator evaluates the entire meeting. Also, the general evaluator will introduce all of the other people who are doing part of the evaluation program. We have evaluators for each speech. This is a very important part of the educational program because we want to improve, and in order to improve, it's good to know what we can do to improve. And that's what the evaluators try to do, give us a better understanding of what we're doing good and also what we can improve on. And then, of course, I will also introduce the evaluations on timers and the evaluation of the grammarian.
And Heather and Maurice will be acting as the first and second evaluators respectively, and Hugh Wing is the timer. Hugh Wing, would you describe that role for us?
And the timer is when the people speaking when they're speaking. I reminded them the time may be approaching, limited. And this one is the first one, depending on what kind of it is speaker, table topic are always different. We have 3 signs. This is the first, the second. The last one is you have to finish your speaking within 30 seconds, I think.
Okay, well, let's move on to our first speech, the icebreaker for Mickey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and our honored guests. The best, I'll be very brief this evening. One thing that comes to mind, one quote, and it states, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others, and that's Mahatma Gandhi. So, good evening, my name is Mickey Zelter. My journey for why I am here, what is my purpose on this planet, and am I striving to be my best self? That's the question that I ask every day. So, am I striving to be my best self? My journey started on my birthday, which was March 18th, some years ago. And I'm currently teaching now in the County Public School System as an educator. And that journey was a long time coming, if you will, because I've been in banking and I've worked in a university setting. And so about 8 months ago, before I relocated back to Mobile, I was working at a bank and I was teaching part-time at night at a university. And so I found myself working every day, just doing what I had to do, but having a passion to get to school to be with my students. And I enjoyed the education, I enjoyed the interaction, I enjoyed the instruction piece. We getting together, round robin, just exchanging ideas. And so I began to think, teaching. I know a lot of my friends are educators, a lot of my friends are in that industry. And so I said, well, I never really saw myself as a teacher, but I began to think about they say if you do something that you love, that you have a passion for, that you never have to work a day in your life, so to speak. And so I said, well, I enjoy teaching. I did also GED instruction on the side, volunteering. And so I'm volunteering, I'm not getting paid to do this, so I started exploring that a little bit more. And so in doing so, I did a little research, did a little more research, and found that I could relocate back to Mobile and take a few classes and begin to get my certification to become an educator. So that being said, I thought about this quote here. This is a way for me to give back, if you will. This is a way, because I'm working at a school, and this has been a very, very long week, and I wouldn't say some of my students are very challenging, if you will, and as far as behavioral and things like that, but I still enjoy being there, enjoying working with students and being a part of education. So I said all that, and there's another quote that does come to mind. And this is Muhammad Ali, and I think Thomas really likes this, liked him. And he says, your service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And so my question, I guess I ask myself again, am I striving every day to be my best self? And because I feel as if what I'm doing is a service to others, giving back to my community in more ways than one, I feel that that's a way that I am striving to be my best self. Thank you.
I was so caught up with your speech that I forgot that I'm the guy who's supposed to be up here introducing that speech. So thank you, Mickey. That was great. That was a great introduction to who you are, who you're about, and I like that positive attitude about teaching, and I like that public service. Well, that was great. So we'll move on to the second speaker, Lawrence, miscellaneous topics.
The purpose of life is joy. Most people don't understand that, but it is true that the purpose of life is joy. This evening, my fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I want to speak a little bit about a topic that has been on my mind. I started to create a speech about the purpose of life is joy. And I'd like to speak a little bit on it, but I'm going to do a real speech on it later. This evening, I kind of came up with one conversation where I was talking with someone who was talking about their purpose in life. And also, our first speaker was talking about her finding her purpose in life. And so I thought, that's what I'm going to speak about tonight. The purpose of life is joy. Now, people sometimes get joy mixed up with other things. Like, for instance, some people think of joy as pleasure. Now, in my real speech, I would go through Webster's and tell you what pleasure is. But pleasure is basically things that are pleasurable are things based on me, on what I am, what I want. I want to have a pleasurable experience. I want to do things that bring pleasure to me. So pleasure is more of a self-centered type experience. So that's not really where we want to go with our purpose in life. On the other hand, there's happiness. Now, we all know that our founding fathers, in creating this wonderful nation, they thought that it was the ideal, or part of the ideal, was the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, I would go through and give you the definition of happiness. But happiness, although it is not as self-centered as pleasure, it is very much something that you bring about by doing things for you that bring you happiness. Now, happiness can be shared, and by being a happy person, you can also find things that are pleasurable. So happiness is a good thing, and it is something that we should strive to be, but I think there is something more. Joy. Joy is the purpose of life. Now, if you look up in Webster's dictionary the meaning of joy, joy is an emotional experience. Joy is the sharing of that emotional experience. And it actually says that in Webster's dictionary. That joy is the sharing of an experience. A bliss is one of the terms that they use to describe joy, is bliss. But we're all striving for a shared experience of joy. We want to find joy in our relationship with our God. We want to find joy in our relationship with each other. And of course, if you're married, you want to find joy in your relationship with your spouse. Now, joy is definitely something deeper. And one wonderful thing that I like to use as an example of joy is a child, a baby. If you're ever in a situation where you come upon a baby, you have a baby. Now, if you really experience that baby, it's a pain in the butt. Right? A woman goes through tremendous suffering to have a baby. They've got messy diapers after the baby is born. You got messy diapers and crying at all hours of the night and day. Constantly got to be taken care of. But do you ever hear parents saying that, I'm sorry I had that kid? No. Why? Because there's so much joy in the experience of that child. So joy is not a selfish experience. Joy is an experience of shared bliss. Sharing the beauty of the world, of the thoughts, of the ideas, of the dreams that we have. And this is how we create joy. So I highly recommend that each one of us in our day-to-day lives try to look and see what are the joyful little experiences that we have and how can we share them. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. you, Lawrence. That was great. Really well-structured speech, impromptu, right off the top of your head. Well, I guess you had a bit of thought preparation for it, but still very impressive with no notes. So we'll move on to one of the more interesting parts of the meeting, the table topics portion. Cody's going to be table topics master for us.
So the theme of tonight's table topics is tall tales. So you can be somewhat exaggerate. You can exaggerate what you say. Your story is a little more than usual for this portion of table topics. So do I have any volunteers tonight for the first table topics?
Okay, after last week, I'll go.
Okay, Marla. Marla, you are a superhero. How did you save the day?
Oh, that's a good Fellow Toast. Right. It's my thing I'm saying. I am here to save the day. Mighty Marlowe's on the way. Similar to Underdog. You know, actually, I do think that I'm a superhero. Actually, I do think that I have an S on my chest. And that S stands for someone super special, someone starting something smooth. So many times I go out into the day and I see people, little old people, walking across the street about to fall. I go into the Publix in Spanish Fort and I see other little old people about to fall in the store, and I follow them. And I make sure that they don't fall. And one day, I was walking, and I noticed this little old man, and he was about to fall, and he did this. And I stood there, and I almost caught him. However, the lady from Publix actually did. And she said, I am so glad that you were there because you are a superhero. I think that his life was saved just because you were in the vicinity. So we created a cabal, artists and other talented people, and we decided that we would go out like Batman and Catwoman, and we would look for problems to save the day. And one of my colleagues, recently, I wish it was me, one of my colleagues, in fact, actually stood on top of the Ritz-Carlton building and looked down and noticed that a baby dropped his pacifier and was screaming and hollering, and he made a phone call downstairs and made sure someone was there to help that mom. So being a superhero, it doesn't take being this great imaginary person. It takes kindness, consideration, and being thoughtful. Thank you.
Marla, that was very good. Thank you. Truly living up to the tall tales and exaggeration. So, any volunteers for the next topic? All right, Heather. Heather, you are late to class. What is your excuse?
Too close to reality.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm late to class. What's my excuse? Personally, I'm the type of person that really doesn't like to make excuses. Like, sometimes I'll have an excuse, but like, even if I do, I'll tell myself that it's not really valid or anything. And I'm often not late to class, but if I were late, it'd probably be because of the weather or something. I don't know. If I were late, maybe my excuse would be that it just took too long to walk there. Sometimes like a class is all the way on the other side of campus and you have like 15 minutes. So I guess that would be an excuse. Or I couldn't find the class. But I probably wouldn't really have an excuse. I think the other day I was kind of thinking, I was actually thinking about excuses. And like I said, I don't make excuses. So, like, I remember being in middle school and how kids wouldn't do their homework and stuff, you know, like that. And they would say that they forgot or they lost it or something, but I would always just say, I didn't do it. And, you know, that was it. I didn't have an excuse. So excuses are kind of like, I don't know. Some people have them, believe in them, but I probably wouldn't be late to class.
All right, thank you, Heather, for that. So we have time for a few more. So you volunteer for this? Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, so you have just come back from an adventure. What did you do on your adventure?
Toastmasters and future friends. This is perfect because I just recently got my passport. And my adventure would be to travel down under. Not just down under. Down under's great. Take a little hop and a skip over to New Zealand. I've been told that New Zealand, if you travel a certain distance within that country, that you'll hit all seasons at one time. So my big adventure would be to see how far I could get hitting all the seasons before I get terribly sick. I'm a person with a low immune system, and I hail from the great state of Texas. By the way, let me introduce myself into my table topic. I hail from the great state of Texas, Conroe, Texas, a little suburb of Houston, where I am a member of Conroe Speaks Toastmasters. So my adventure, so that's my introduction, sorry. So my adventure probably could have started there. Getting here was quite an adventure. Yes, I just got my passport, but let me delineate to my trip here. I left Houston at 12 a.m. I did not get to Mobile until 10 a.m. at the Gemino building when I was supposed to be somewhere else. So I sat on the ground and I looked around and decided, those gentlemen look nice. Let me ask them where I am. They said, ma'am, you're at the Gemino building. And if you catch that bus, you'll get to where you're going. So along with luggage, purse, backpack, package for my sister-in-law, I carried myself all the way over to the bus stop, get on the bus, ride the bus, looking everywhere. The bus driver is helping the new bus driver navigate the route, so he couldn't help me. So I'm sitting there, and I was born in Mobile. I'm sitting there and saying, how am I gonna know this? How am I gonna know this? So I asked other passengers, and the lady that I talked to said, this is my first time riding the bus. I can't help it. But with 4 sets of eyes, I was able to see my stop, and the bus driver was even nice enough to let the bus down and let me get my luggage off. So that was my adventure from Houston to Mobile.
Okay. Okay. Room for one more.
I think we could run to 7:25 if you like.
Okay.
It's 20 minutes for the general evaluation.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So, do you volunteer? Ewing, want to do it? Okay, Ewing, convince us how you created the internet. Yeah, so convince us on how you created the internet.
Never created the internet, but I know, right? So I'll show it you. Okay, I just imagine I'm so smart, so I can do anything. Even English is not good, but it doesn't matter because create the internet. Maybe don't need English good, not good as you have. So trust me, I can do this. Like I really just put some picture over there and create some like a movie and a video and just copy paste, and then I tell you the link, next, and then done.
that was a tough one.
Yeah.
Did good on it. Okay. Anyone?
I'll take a stab.
All right, Maurice. How did you save the day at the bank robbery?
Oh, wow.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, the question that was posed to me is how did I save the day at the bank robbery? At the beginning of the day, I was just minding my own business. I had to make a withdrawal from my bank account. I went in, got in line, and as soon as I got to the teller, for some reason I took a glance to my left, and I saw the person at next to the other teller doing something weird. And I just kept looking. It looked like he passed a piece of paper to the teller. And the teller had a weird look on their face. And he slowly walked toward the vault, and came out with a big stack of money. And then slowly came back to the desk, and slowly, well, it wasn't the type of booth that had the glass on it. It was open. Okay. So the teller gave the stack of money to that person, and then as the person slowly was headed toward the door, I heard another employee say something in a panic state. And then I finally put two and two together. I said, wow, this bank is being robbed. So right as he was going out the door with this big stack of money, I just kind of slowly walked behind him. And then he fell. And the money fell. And then all the employees converged on the robber, and the robbery was foiled.
Thank you for that, Maurice. I enjoyed the somersault. So I had a nice touch to it. So we have a little bit of time left, so we can do another one. You want to try it? Okay. So how did you become the greatest athlete in the world?
Well, I guess my journey started off after a horrible leg injury. I was kayaking one day out in the Delta, and I like to do that in the morning, and just wasn't paying attention, was watching the birds fly around above me, and this alligator came, got my leg, and so that put me in a wheelchair for a while, and I had to work my way through the pain and work my way back to being able to walk, and then being able to run, and I just took it one step at a time, and started training professionally as a sprinter, and called up Usain Bolt, and he gave me some tips, and after we trained together for a while, I became the best sprinter in the world.
It's always tough getting up here in the first day, so congratulations on taking that. So, does anybody else? I got maybe a few more. Julius, you want to go? All right, Julius, you've been asked to give a speech anywhere. Where would you give the speech at, and what will you speak about?
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, if I had the opportunity to speak anywhere, it'd be right here. Right here at Toastmasters. No other place that you can learn and grow as a leader this is the perfect place to be. And talking to you guys in particular is what I would choose to do. And strangely enough, I was almost late here tonight, but I'm not making any excuses because I'm a super speaker. And because I'm a super speaker, I know that the main thing you really want to work on is trying to get to New Zealand. Because if you can get to New Zealand, you will have a lot of joy. And that's what I want. that's what I want to do. And if I have to, I'll speak in front of a bank and I'll say, stop! It's not taking the place of the bank. You follow what I'm saying? Because I invented the internet with the help of you. I'm ready to speak to anybody who is willing to listen. And listen to me, and I will tell you this. There's no greater place to be than here at Toastmasters International with you guys here at Corporate Den. Toastmasters.
Well, I think we'll end on that note. That was a good wrap-up summary of the meeting. We might not even need the general evaluation. So that concludes the table topics portion of this meeting. I will now relinquish the lectern to our Toastmaster, Justin.
Those were great. Great topics and great speeches by everyone involved. So we'll move on to the general evaluation portion of the meeting here. And Lawrence is going to conduct that for us. Lawrence.
Well, so far our meeting has gone forward quite wonderfully because we started on time and we had our speakers were very invigorating. I really enjoyed it. A lot of joy in this meeting tonight. So it's really been a good meeting. I'd like to give our evaluators the opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, the evaluation program is one of the key points in our training program because we all want to learn and grow, and the evaluation is the best way to do that. So I would like to give our first evaluator the opportunity to evaluate Mickey's icebreaker speech. Miss Heather, would you like to evaluate that speech?
So Mickey had a really good speech. I think some strong points that she made really clear was from the beginning she had this good technique of starting off with a quote and capturing the audience's attention. And I think the entire time she really kind of demonstrated a lot of energy, and I think that was really captivating, again, for holding the audience's attention. And we got to know you pretty well. We got to know that you were very passionate about teaching and that's what led to you becoming a teacher and getting more involved with that. I think that as far as preparation, you can't really be more prepared on any other speech because it was just about you. So no one knows you better than yourself, obviously. So as far as preparation, it was definitely excellent. It was clear and audible. As far as organization, like an opening, a body, a conclusion, I think that could have been a little more clear, but it was still, we still knew what you were talking about, and it still had a definite conclusion and an opening, so it was fine the way you approached it. The use of notes, you didn't use any notes, which is really good because everybody that first speaks, you know, it's really hard just to get up here, and the fact that it was your icebreaker and you were making eye contact and you didn't rely on anything, that was really good, and I think that shows that you have a lot of skill. So as far as something that you could have improved upon, I think maybe just like slow down a little bit when you're talking so that the audience can digest it a little bit. I know whenever like I'm preparing a speech, I'll time it and I'll recite it over and over again, and it'll always be like maybe 7 minutes or something. And then every time I give this speech, it's like always under time. It's always like 4 minutes because I'm just trying to get through it. I don't know. I think that's how it is for some people, but that's all I could really suggest, I think, from this speech. And again, what I liked about it, I thought you were very positive, you had a great attitude, and that really showed through your tone, and you were really expressive with that, again, expressing what you were passionate about and how that helped you decide to become a teacher. So overall, really good speech. Good job, Nikki.
Yes, I also agree with her. This is for the first speech getting up here, you did a stellar job. I really enjoyed your talk. Our second evaluator is going to be evaluating my impromptu speech, and I don't know what he used as a background. There's no book, so he has to just kind of wing it himself.
Yes.
Mr. Maurice.
All right, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. Lawrence's speech was on a miscellaneous topic about joy. And since it doesn't fall in line with a particular subject in a particular book, I found it to be more like pick a word and expand on it, define it, and find several examples of it. So for example, joy is not just pleasure, and joy is not just a brand of dishwashing liquid. He didn't say that, but he described different instances of different examples of joy. Joy with your spouse, joy with your favorite type of event, your favorite type of task. There are several different examples of joy and several ways to get joy. And not just, I better not say that, but not just as far as going to the museum and looking at good looking pieces of artwork, but also he might like a certain poem, he might get joy out of that. But he basically laid out how you can obtain joy. And he had a good beginning, a good body, and a good conclusion. And that is my evaluation for Lawrence's speech.
The next evaluation we're going to have is our timer. Now, what we like to do at Toastmasters is, because it's not just communication, but it's also leadership through communication, we like to structure our meetings like you would want to have meetings structured in your corporate environment, which means you want them to not drag on and on and on. So we use a timer to help us to keep things going, and so we started on time, we want to finish on time. And so I'd like to ask our timer, Ewing, to tell us how we did so far.
In speech, first one is Mickey is used 3 minutes. The second speaker is Lawrence is 6 minutes. Table topic, Marlon is 2 minutes 40 seconds. Heather is 1 minute 38 seconds. Our guest, Regina in 2 minutes 22 seconds. Me is 56 seconds. And Maurice 2 minutes 14 seconds. And our guest David 56 seconds. And Julie is 1 minute 12 seconds. For our evaluator, first one is 2 minutes 34 seconds. And second, the evaluator used 1 minute 57 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the next part of our evaluation is the grammarian. The grammarian, as was mentioned earlier, likes to find things that might not be conducive to a good and happy speech, using filler words. Also using the word of the day, which I don't know, I think the grammarian was the only one who used that. I'm sure that the cabal of us will eventually get that right. So I'd like to have our grammarian give her evaluation. Ms. Marlowe.
I'm going to start with the word of the day. It was used twice by Lawrence as well as myself. Starting with Justin, 1 that was great. Yu Ying, 0. Mickey, in your icebreakers, we had a few, this is your first time, so. And so, we had a couple of ands and so's, and quite a few ahs, but it's okay, it's all right, it's all good. Heather, table topics, we had a couple filler words, we had a few you knows, like, but, so, I don't knows. Cody, good. Lawrence, 1 the joy in meeting. Maurice, 1 and a double and. And we're not evaluating the visitors. So that.
Evaluate me.
Please, here. Well, at the start, usually we don't do evaluate.
Oh, you just don't do, okay, sorry.
So if next time I will make sure if I'm the grammarian.
Get me good.
Okay. And that completes my evaluation.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that's the end of the evaluation program, the evaluation portion of the program. I believe that now I will relinquish the lectern to our president, or our back to our Toastmaster.
Lawrence, for evaluations, everyone. So as the treasurer, I'll just take this opportunity to throw something out there. We did just finish officer training, and one of the things that they pointed out that's very important in the treasury role is that we need to make sure that we pay our dues to Toastmasters International. So I'm going to start mentioning this now. I think everyone here, but I'll mention this also for our guest, our dues run in 6-month blocks with Toastmasters International, and those are due at the end of September. So get online and pay your dues, or bring a check or cash up to the next meeting, or sometime in September, and we'll get those dues paid. That's very important for the standing of our club. And just a reminder, those dues are $45 for the 6-month period. And while you're at it, you might as well pay the local club dues also, $8 a month, and contribute there, maybe pay out a few months. Not a bad idea, just to knock that off at the same time. So I'll hand the lectern back to Cody.
Do we get any awards or anything? Pens, or I guess Justin or Thomas isn't here anyway, so for his competent communicator.
Right. I think it'll be delivered straight to that person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So no awards for tonight. As far as the educational overview, didn't have anything prepared, but I can go over some of the stuff I picked up in the PR training. It was actually a really good meeting for the PR training. We had professional marketers and PR people that do it for a living, so there's a lot of good ideas. One lady that owns a social media marketing company, so learned some good tips. So I'm going to take that and try to get our social media presence a little better, make a LinkedIn, which we don't have. And also, if you guys, those little flyers there are a good example. Just maybe take that if you have anywhere at work that has a common area, like maybe in front of the coffee machine or the snack bar, maybe just set one of those down and somebody might be interested in pick it up. Also, maybe want to create, I might do this, create a flyer, and then if you guys have any place in your business that you can put that, you can do that as well. Just try to help boost membership, because I don't think we're on a roll at some point to get a distinguished club, but we kind of tailored off. So maybe we can do that the next year if we can get our membership up, and we'll definitely, hit our leadership goals and competent communicators, as some people are getting close to that as well. So that is the educational overview for tonight. No awards. So for the next meeting, we want to kind of go over that and try to arrange rules of meeting. So anyone got any speeches that they would like to do for next week?
I'll give a speech.
Julia?
Yeah, I'll be out next week.
I can do whatever you need me to do. Whatever's open, please put me in there.
Come on.
So I'll do the second speech.
Okay.
I'll do my ninth speech. Put some pressure.
Toastmaster? Who is
Let's see, the Justin was tonight. We can, the psalm's gonna be back next week.
I think so, yes.
Okay, so he'll be here.
Toastmaster.
Does anybody wanna try Toastmaster out? Not yet.
I would, just on an aside, I would, if you are still working on your competent leadership, I would recommend that you look at that and see what you need to do to get to the next level, because you may want to get those signed off and bring those books so that your Vice President of Education can sign off that you've completed things, okay?
I'll take general evaluating.
Okay.
I'll toss my head in for table topics again.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do time.
Timer, okay. Timer ready.
I'll be the girl.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like we'll have a full meeting staff. That's good. All right. So with that, I will conclude the meeting. Thank you, everyone.